Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. It's night 9 of the Hellraiser Retrospective last night. We're going over Hellraiser Revelations. Okay. Now, right off the bat, we have to address, the elephant in the room. The fact that Doug Bradley is not Pinhead in this movie. You know what? I don't care what they did. They should have done anything in their power to have got Doug Bradley to be Pinhead. Because honestly, the guy that was in Revelations is not good at all. He's a very, very weak Pinhead. So we've got that out of the way. That's right off the bat. Now, the movie itself, a lot of people really hate this movie. And I'm going to say right now, I don't get it. Because I really like Revelations. And I like it simply because it takes the Cenobites and Hellraiser back to what it was at the beginning. The physical torture. The Cenobites in Revelations are... They're not interested in, like, the emotionally torturing people. They're not interested in that. They're about coming in and ripping you to pieces. So it's nice to see it back that way. Now, is the movie perfect? Hell no. Does the movie have problems? Hell yes. What this movie could have done with would have been... There could have been some really quick, easy solutions. Like, there's one part where the girl in it is watching a videotape of what her brother and, like, her boyfriend or whatever had been doing down in Mexico. And it's like the cops gave them back this stuff. And there's, like, incriminating type stuff on there. There's stuff that the cops would have seen, but it's never mentioned. All of that could have been switched around really easily when the, like, boyfriend reappears after disappearing. If he'd had the video camera with him, it would have changed everything. It would have made sense, Yeah, so there are plot holes. There are plot holes galore. The problem with Revelations is it was made purely to keep the license. Dimension were on the verge of losing the Hellraiser license, so they rushed a sequel. And it's the sort of thing, it was obviously rushed. It feels rushed. The story is... Maybe that's why they couldn't get Doug Bradley. The story wasn't really up to it. But all in all, it's I think it's one of the better Hellraiser sequels. I mean, it gets a lot of hate, but it really doesn't deserve it, I don't think. The problems that it does have are huge and glaring, but what it does, so much so, it kind of overshadows what it does right, and it does a lot right. But it's overshadowed by what it does wrong. So yeah, as for a rating for Revelations, I'm giving it an 8. 8 out of 10. It's a lot better than people think. It's a lot better than people remember. Honestly, if you've seen Revelations and you remember hating it or whatever, just give it another shot. You know, um, try not to let the Doug Bradley-less version fool you. Just think of him as another character. That's what I do. Um, Now, one thing this also does good though is it brings back, the skinned people. There's nothing like skinned people in a Hellraiser movie. It just makes it work. Um, I I didn't like the pseudo Pinhead. I didn't like, this idea that, like, this Pinhead is making another version of himself out of one of these kids. I found it kind of stupid. But you know, I think, hey, it's a rushed sequel, and it feels that way. So yeah, 8 out of 10, pretty good. You know, yeah. So I was gonna end it there, but you know what? I'm gonna go on a little bit longer. I'm gonna talk about the new Hellraiser Judgment that's coming out. Now, I've seen a couple of like the little screenshots that everyone's seen. You know, I've seen some interviews with heard about the interviews with the director, interviews with the new Pinhead. I have to say, I'm actually really pleased with the new Pinhead. He seems to be a genuine fan of the story and fan of the genre, and he looks the part. There's one thing that annoys me, and this isn't even really anything to do with him. It's the fact that they had a screenshot of him, and everyone was saying like he looks so fat. Like look how fat he is. Um, am I the am I the only one that noticed he's like wearing like a cloak or like a coat or something? It looks like over top of his costume. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, I totally saw like a coat, and I'm like, look, you know. Um, I think he's gonna do a good job. I really hope he does. I hope this is kind of the rebirth of the Hellraiser franchise. Because, you know, I know there's talk of a remake. Um, I'm down for a remake. I really am. I'm not the biggest fan of remakes, but if done right, you could bring it into the new age, if you will, and it could be interesting. Uh, we'll see eventually what happens, but I'm looking forward to Hellraiser Judgment. So yeah, take that for what you will. But yeah, so there you go. Hellraiser Retrospective. 9 episodes, 9 days. Hope you enjoyed it. Um, this is something I might keep doing, like not on Hellraiser, but like other retrospectives on an entire series. I'll think about it. I'll see how this does. See if you like it. Leave a comment below if you do. Um, yeah. Hell. Here's one. Leave if you feel like leaving a comment, leave a comment saying like what else you'd like to see a retrospective of. You know? Yeah. So that's it for now. See you next time.